Good afternoon. I'm Wolfpack 6. This is the first part of a two-part series on salute reports. The first half will actually be the classroom instruction. Find the aircraft. The first report, or the first section of the video, will be on the actual classroom, how to call up a salute report, etc. The second half will give salute report demonstration, and then we will give a opportunity where we will show a scene and test your skills on calling up a salute report, and then at the end we'll show what you should have called up for that salute report. Bear with me, it's kind of dark out here in our training area. I'm going to try to use a whiteboard if you can't see it, and just keep in mind that it's getting kind of dark out, and I will give you the information that I'm writing down anyway. Like I said, I'm your instructor, Wolfpack 6. The task is to report intelligence information using the salute report format. The conditions: you have observed enemy activity, significant terrain and weather features, and must immediately report activity to your chain of command via radio. Standards: submit a report of observations in a spot report format using salute to your chain of command within 3 minutes of observing enemy activity. Okay. You know, a lot of people hear salute report, and for those of you that aren't prior military that we're having to train, or just for people that may not have learned it in the military, there's some people out there that haven't. Salute report is a format in which you call up intelligence observations as not just as recon, but anybody. So you call up a spot report, your commander might ask for a salute report, or it might be your job to call up salute reports. It's actually an acronym, just like a lot of things we do in the military, and it's spelled just like the word salute, which is salute. The S is for size, A is for activity, L is location, U is unit identifier or unit, T is time, and E is equipment. So it's salute: size, activity, location, unit identifier, time, equipment. Now, the way this works is obviously size means not the size of you, not the size of the weather outside, not the size of the mountains, not the size of the deer standing behind us, anything like that. S stands for size of the enemy force. This doesn't mean, you know, they have a giant tank or they have huge guns, you know, some stupid shit like that. It means literally the size of the enemy force. Try to give us exact numbers. You know, you'll have 1 tank, you know, 2 helicopters, 3 fast movers, you know, whatever. Try to give exact numbers of troops. If you can't give an exact number, say whether or not you think it's a team-sized element, you know, 1 to 3 men, whether or not it's a squad-sized element, you know, 4 to 6 men, whether or not it's, you know, a platoon, battalion, brigade, etc. Say how many sizes there is. So if there's a tank platoon, say 4 tanks, 3 troops, you know, etc. A is for activity, which is activity of the enemy. Be really specific. Let's say they're convoying. Be like, you know, size: 4 enemy trucks traveling down the road at a, you know, fast-paced speed, or 4 troops in the open in placing mines, or 3 Stinger crew members searching and scanning, you know, etc., etc., etc. If they're in placing mines, if they're setting up a machine gun position, etc., make sure you're really clear on that. L for location. You're going to want to give a 6-digit or more grid coordinate. Be very, very specific. In the instance, let's say you lost your map or your GPS went down, which God forbid it doesn't, because you should not, you know, that's why we have GPS and maps, and you should be able to read both. Let's say that you can't give a grid coordinate, you're going to want to be very, very specific. Say your location, or let's say if you have target identifier locations. We'll get more into that when we're doing call for fire and stuff, but let's say there's a target identifier, you're going to want to call it up. For unit or unit identification, you're going to want to be really, really specific, and you're going to want to be really, really sure. So make sure you're looking through your binos and your spotting scope or whatever you have. You're going to want to say what ID they're wearing, what uniform they're wearing, you know, if they're wearing Tiger Stripe, if they're wearing Digital Army ACUs, MARPAT, etc. You're going to want to say what kind of helmets they have on, you know, if they have any flag patches, you know, if they're wearing red jackets, if they got jack boots on, etc. T is time and date. I know T just stands for time, but it's time and date. You're going to want to give that in 24-hour military time format, and you're going to want to say if it's Lima for local time within your AO, or whether or not it's Zulu time. And you're also going to want to give the date. I prefer that my soldiers call it up in a Julian date, because all of our reports and everything else are in the Julian date, but it can also just be your normal day, month, year format. You're going to want to give the full year, and you're going to want to say the month, no numbers. You can't say like 9/18/08. It could get kind of confusing. Sorry, stuttered over my words there. And E for equipment, which means any equipment they have. You know, if they have 4 Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, 2 Strykers, and Gavin 113. And you're going to want to say any equipment they have, whether or not you're seeing SAWs, 240s, M4s, AK-47s. You're going to want to say whether or not they have RPGs, AT-4s, etc. Whatever equipment they're carrying. You know, if they're wearing web gear, which I have basic LC1 gear on. If they have, you know, anti-tank rifles, if they have javelins, etc., you're going to want to call that up. Now, in the way of radio procedures, let's say you're using your basic, you know, most of our team members are issued with just basic GMRS radios. You're going to want to call it up, and you're going to want to be, for example, Wolfpack TOC, this is Wolfpack 6, over. Wolfpack TOC's going to respond. Go ahead, Wolfpack 6. Salute report as follows, prepared to copy. And TOC's going to come back on and say, prepared to copy, send it. Salute report as follows, size, 3 enemy troops in open. Activity, placing mines. Location, Lima Delta 645295. Unit, enemy soldiers wearing digital MARPAT with U.S. flag patches. Time is approximately 17:30, 6 November 2008. Equipment, anti-tank mines, M18A Claymores, Molly vests, troops in the open carrying M4s. How copy? Over. And then Wolfpack TOC's going to come on, they're going to read it back to you, and you're going to make sure you sent the right information and they received it, and then that should be all. They're going to give it back to you, and then since you started the conversation, Wolfpack TOC, this is Wolfpack 6, good copy, Wolfpack 6 out. As you know with radio procedures, if you started it, you are the one that ends it, not the other person. Obviously, I can't say any questions because I'm on video, but if you do have any questions about the salute format or how to call it up, etc., watch the second video and then send us your comments or your questions. And sorry, I'm stuttering all over my words today. Anyway, everybody have a great day, and this is Wolfpack 6 out.